Top web hosting terms you should know. This message is brought to you by bookmare.com. In bookmare.com you will find and discover knowledge, advice, guides. Kindly visit bookmare.com to register today to become a member. It is free to join. Get full access to bookmare.com. You will get the best of any books, articles, advice, insight, profiles and guides. It is for you and everyone. We shall endeavor to explain web hosting terms that you should know. Hosting can be a tricky subject and confusing that involves a lot of jargon, especially when you are shopping around for a new web host. We are here to help in order to dispel some of the confusion. Here we break down some of the most common hosting terms for you. A web hosting service, often shortened to web host, is a type of internet hosting service that allows individuals and organizations to make their website accessible via the World Wide Web. Web hosts are companies that provide space on a server owned or leased for use by clients, as well as providing internet connectivity, typically in a data center. Web hosts can also provide data center space and connectivity to the internet for other servers located in their data center, called collocation. Dedicated IP and IP address that is used solely by your website. This is necessary if using SSL to accept payment via the website. Bandwidth. Bandwidth refers to the amount of traffic a website can take, specifically, the amount of data transfer that is used on your account. This includes visitors to your site, emails sent or received, and files uploaded or downloaded. Shared hosting. A shared hosting refers to a dedicated server that is shared over a large number of clients. The resources of the server are shared by a large number of clients. This makes it economical in terms of costing. One's website is placed on the same server as many other sites, ranging from a few sites to hundreds of websites. Typically, all domains may share a common pool of server resources, such as RAM and the CPU. The features available with this type of service can be quite basic and not flexible in terms of software and updates. Resellers often sell shared web hosting, and web companies often have reseller accounts to provide hosting for clients. Reseller Web Hosting allows clients to become web hosts themselves. Resellers could function, for individual domains, under any combination of these listed types of hosting, depending on who they are affiliated with as a reseller. Resellers' accounts may vary tremendously in size. They may have their own virtual dedicated server to a collocated server. Many resellers provide a nearly identical service to their provider's shared hosting plan and provide the technical support themselves. Reseller hosting is also a type of shared hosting in which one can resell hosting under this own banner. The reseller package is mostly availed by IT experts who would like to make money by reselling web hosting plans. He can assign resources F8 to his clients out of his total resource package. He also provides technical and after-sales support to his own clients. The reseller pays the hosting company only the cost of the reseller plan. Whatever profit he makes above the cost of the plan is his to keep. Virtual Private Server, VPS. Virtual Private Server, VPS, hosting is a type of web hosting in which a dedicated server is split over a number of virtual servers. Each user has fixed allocation of resources like CPU, RAM, HDD, etc. VPS are normally an ideal choice for customers who would like to have dedicated resources for themselves but cannot afford a dedicated server. Also known as a Virtual Private Server, VPS, divides server resources into virtual servers, where resources can be allocated in a way that does not directly reflect the underlying hardware. VPS will often be allocated resources based on a one server to many VPS's relationship. However, virtualization may be done for a number of reasons, including the ability to move a VPS container between servers. The users may have root access to their own virtual space. Customers are sometimes responsible for patching and maintaining the server, unmanaged server, or the VPS provider may provide server admin tasks for the customer. Managed server. Dedicated hosting service. The user gets his or her own web server and gains full control over it. User has root access for Linux/administrator access for Windows. However, the user typically does not own the server. One type of dedicated hosting is self-managed or unmanaged. This is usually the least expensive of dedicated plans. The user has full administrative access to the server, which means the client is responsible for the security and maintenance of his own dedicated server. Managed hosting service. The user gets his or her own web server but is not allowed full control over it. User is denied root access for Linux/administrator access for Windows. However, they are allowed to manage their data via FTP or other remote management tools. The user is disallowed full control so that the provider can guarantee quality of service by not allowing the user to modify the server or potentially create configuration problems. The user typically does not own the server. The server is leased to the client. Collocation Web Hosting Service. Similar to the dedicated web hosting service, but the user owns the Collo server. The hosting company provides physical space that the server takes up and takes care of the server. This is the most powerful and expensive type of web hosting service. In most cases, the collocation provider may provide little to no support directly for their client's machine, providing only the electrical, internet access, and storage facilities for the server. In most cases for Collo, the client would have his own administrator visit the data center on site to do any hardware upgrades or changes. Formerly, many collocation providers would accept any system configuration for hosting, even ones housed in desktop-style Minotaur cases, but most hosts now require rack mount enclosures and standard system configurations. Cloud hosting. This is a new type of hosting platform that allows customers powerful, scalable and reliable hosting based on clustered load-balanced servers and utility billing. A cloud-hosted website may be more reliable than alternatives since other computers in the cloud can compensate when a single piece of hardware goes down. Also, local power disruptions or even natural disasters are less problematic for cloud-hosted sites, as cloud hosting is decentralized. Cloud hosting also allows providers to charge users only for resources consumed by the user, rather than a flat fee for the amount the user expects they will use, or a fixed cost upfront hardware investment. Alternatively, the lack of centralization may give users less control on where their data is located, which could be a problem for users with data security or privacy concerns. Cloud hosting users can request additional resources on demand, such as only during periods of peak traffic, while offloading IT management to the cloud hosting service. Clustered hosting. Having multiple servers hosting the same content for better resource utilization. Clustered servers are a perfect solution for high availability dedicated hosting, or creating a scalable web hosting solution. A cluster may separate web serving from database hosting capability. Usually web hosts use clustered hosting for their shared hosting plans, as there are multiple benefits to the mass managing of clients. Home server. Usually a single machine placed in a private residence can be used to host one or more websites from a usually consumer-grade broadband connection. These can be purpose-built machines or more commonly old PCs. Some ISPs actively attempt to block home servers by disallowing incoming requests to TCP port 80 of the user's connection and by refusing to provide static IP addresses. A common way to attain a reliable DNS host name is by creating an account with a dynamic DNS service. A dynamic DNS service will automatically change the IP address that a URL points to when the IP address changes. Windows Server. A server that uses Windows as the operating system. This type of plan is typically more expensive but necessary to accommodate specific applications. DNS? Domain Name System, translates Internet domain names and host names to IP addresses. Domain name. A domain name, like bookmare.com, is used to identify the location of a particular web page. The domain name is how people will find your site, it's the URL. Make your domain name simple and intuitive. For example, if your business is Bob's Pets, your best domain name would be www.bobspits.com. Don't deviate from your business name whenever possible, doing so will only hurt your chances of securing business. Subdomain. A subdomain is an additional domain name that enables you to logically organize your site structure and/or host additional websites or parts of a website on the same server without the need to pay for registration of additional domain names. Domain parking. If your main domain name is www.midomain.com, you might also purchase the same name with different extensions, such as www.midomain.net and www.midomain.name. With domain parking, you can have your main website of www.midomain.com and then park the other extensions, or a different name, on top of that main site. Domain registrar. A domain registrar is a company accredited by the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, ICANN, to register and manage domain names. Who is? Every year, millions of individuals, businesses, organizations and governments register domain names. Each one must provide identifying and contact information which may include name, address, email, phone number, and administrative and technical contacts. This information is often referred to as WHOIS data. But the WHOIS service is not a single, centrally operated database. Instead, the data is managed by independent entities known as registrars and registries. Any entity that wants to become a registrar must earn ICANN accreditation. Similarly, registries are under contract with ICANN to operate a generic top-level domain, such as .com, .org, or one of the new GTLDs such as storage and link. Domain privacy. This service is provided by numerous domain name registrars. As the site owner, you would purchase privacy from the domain registrar who in turn would replace your info in the WHOIS with information for a forwarding service to maintain your privacy and anonymity. Top-level domain, TLD. The Internet has a hierarchical domain name system which places some domains at a higher priority than others. Uptime. The amount of time the server is uninterrupted and your website is accessible. This is typically shown as a percentage. You want a high uptime, 99% and above, so as not to disrupt access to your site. Data center. A data center is a specialized facility that houses thousands of servers that are connected via a network to the Internet. IP address. Each Internet-connected computer has at least one IP address, a unique sequence of numbers and/or letters, that serves two purposes: host or network interface identification, who it is, and location addressing, where it is. Malware. Harmful software that aims to damage, disable, or take control of your computer, mobile device, website, or network. Malware is often used to steal information or hold data for ransom. Payment gateway. A payment gateway is a service that allows users to authorize credit card payments for e-commerce. Payment gateways often have specific compliance requirements based on your business type and transaction volume. PHP. PHP, an acronym for Hypertext Preprocessor, is a scripting language designed for web development. It combines dynamic content, prices, comments, or shopping cart contents, with static content, page styles and images, into HTML so your browser can display it. SSL. SSL is an acronym for Secure Sockets Layer and is a security protocol that allows for the safe handling of confidential information. If you run an e-commerce website, you need SSL to securely accept payments online. When a secure page is browsed, the address will show as https://midomain.com instead of http://midomain.com. FTP and SFTP. File Transfer Protocol, FTP, and Secure File Transfer Protocol, SFTP, are used to transfer files between a computer and a server. FTP is especially useful for bulk transfers, so you don't have to move hundreds of files individually. SSL certificate. An SSL certificate is used to provide third-party validation of your encryption key, so someone else can't pretend to be your website. Bluehost customers can purchase an SSL certificate in their control panel. Mysql. A database system that is often included in hosting packages. It is commonly used with a variety of applications. CMS? CMS stands for Content Management System. It is a user-friendly application that you install on a hosting server to make managing a website easier. A CMS like Wordpress is particularly great for people without a coding background to get started with a website. Example are Wordpress, Drupal, Joomla. Wordpress is a free and open-source content management system based on PHP and MySQL. WordPress is the most used website building software and powers 1/3 or all websites on the internet. Drupal. A free online open-source content management framework system that is based in PHP. It typically requires a programmer to customize it, but makes content editable for marketers and others who might update website content, but do not know HTML or programming languages. Official website, Drupal.org. Autoresponder. A way to automatically send an email in response to one received. Often used for away messages, such as when on vacation and typical response times may be delayed. SMTP. An email protocol allowing you to send emails. Most web hosts allow you to use the server to send email. However, some ISPs require you to use their servers to send email when using their service as opposed to your web host. POP3. An email protocol that allows you to retrieve emails from the server. Imap. Internet Message Access Protocol is a way to retrieve mail. It leaves a copy on the server until deleted permanently. Convenient for people who use multiple computers and email clients, such as at work and home. Webmail. A way to send and receive email via the internet without the need for a separate email software. Spam. Unsolicited bulk mail typically